Do you still have that tweet? I wanted to comment on that.
Oh yeah, I don't have it open, but I can yeah.
Paraphrase it.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
paraphrase it. Just our weekly AMC recap. So I guess they have an earning because pretty much every week now, I think for the past like at least a month, there's been like some big biblical day where it's like, oh, July 27th, that's gonna be the day, like it's gonna go to the moon kind of thing, and then it doesn't do anything. So like now they're saying the earnings call is on the 9th. And like it just pops up on my phone on Twitter, and there's this guy, like one of the big AMC guys, I guess, has a big following. So he tweets and he says, "Oh, he's like the 9th is going to be the day. Like you're going to want to accumulate as many shares as you can before then." I'm like, why? Because they're having an earnings call. Like this is irrelevant information.
Yeah. So, like I was talking to you off camera earlier, and I was like, the reason I like to bring it up now because I'm just absolutely fascinated by it.
I know.
It's broken like every convention. I want to see it play out, right?
Yeah.
But
it's just like it's the funniest thing. Like it's just I keep trying to get away from it, but like I keep trading it. Like, but it's just like the whole like the chart itself and the patterns are great. Like they play out really nicely. They're easy to trade. Like they're easy to make money on. But like it's just the whole background saga behind it. It's just hilarious to watch this all go out because I literally am not paying attention to any of this stuff, and I'm just sitting here just trading it based on the chart, like super boring, and it's just so easy because it's so technical. There's like all these big things, like, oh, this is gonna be the day, and then I'm like, no, I don't see it, and I'll short it, and then it'll go down again. But like, so, I mean, wow. Like even just this daily chart, man, like it. So it's closed now under like that little short-term uptrend line, right? On this little, whatever you want to call that, a pennant or whatever. So yeah, so it's basically closed under that line, and you can kind of see it's been like hitting on the $37 mark for a little while, and there's been some big top wicks. Like anytime that it's kind of tried to spike up, it's been stuffed down pretty hard. So I think one of two things is going to happen: either that 37 is going to hold, and we're going to have a really big up day, in which case, I might go long. But I think the more likely scenario is that we have a really big down day because it's been sticking to that level so long. Like I can almost see that breaking and just blowing right through that 33.5, the next space, and going down to 26. Because like that, yeah, look at that line. Like that's creeping right behind like a really, really strong front side level.
Holy shit! How far back does this thing go? No, that's it.
No, that's
so this was May, yeah.
But like that is the front side right there. So like if you scroll out a little bit more, like this is your major front side line because you can see kind of like call it your ABCD setup, right? When it first took off.
Right here?
So like the big spike and then it came down, like when it kind of consolidated. Yeah, so it came up, went down, and then when it had that big run up like into, the 70s. Yeah, right there. Yeah, exactly. So like that line that you drew, like the one that runs up into where we're at now, like that's my favorite front side line. So the major front side line would be off the dip from back in like May of 2021 or whatever it is to the bottom. Yeah, from there and then over across to the bottom all the way out. So that's like full side front side. But the one that you have drawn there, like that's your major short-term front side. So that's my favorite line because I know as soon as it gets behind that line, short the shit out of it. So that's why I want to see. Like if it tanks below that, I'm going to be hitting every pop with every single dollar that I have available because that's a perfect setup right there to go short.
This gets a little interesting. This level right here is actually very curious. It's like the previous, so we were testing previous resistance.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's a huge level too, like across the board. It's like we're just like inching along right at that line. We're about we're crossing into backside, and we're also right at the previous all-time high. So that's what I mean. Like if that snaps, that's a huge level to snap.
Where would your target be here? 20 bucks.
26, I'd probably take some into the front, like into the front of that.
Oh, that was my level.
Yeah,
that's what my buy order was.
26 and 22 is what I had.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I was checking my orders the other day. I actually I didn't put it at 22 or 20. Put it at 20 of this thing here. It was like where that wick was and this previous top. So I thought that'll be an interesting area to turn around. And it was previous support too.
Yeah. Yeah, I had 26 and 22 for cover targets, and then like if we get below 22, I think it's just complete game over. It's going to go back down to buck or whatever it was. Oh, we got shut off.
Oh, perfect. We hit the hour mark.
There you go.
Awesome.
I just think that's hilarious. I mean,
well, the reason I asked was because I wanted to just point out, Bitcoin just dropped another $500 in that conversation.
Oh, really?
It's coming. It's hitting that line. Yeah. But I was gonna say, like, I hope people aren't holding on to. I know they probably are, but don't hold on to AMC because you're expecting explosive earnings. It's just not going to happen. I know the business, right? If anything could pop the price, and maybe some forward statements they're going to make saying, well, I remember I joked that said they came out with an app like, yeah, we lost $200 million, but we came out with this app, and that might spike the price.
Yeah. I think like I've talked to a few people that are like in AMC because like obviously every time I mention it, I say that I'm shorting it right now because it's the backside of the move, so I'm going to short it. But like I've talked to a few people and like they start off saying like, oh, you're spreading all this fear and doubt and blah blah blah, and my response is always like, look, like I'm doing this on a free podcast. Like I'm just trying to give people information on like what I've been doing to make money. So if you want to take my 2 cents to learn from it, go ahead. If not, like I'm really not going to lose any sleep over it. But like the bottom line is it's just like some of the guys I've talked to are smart and like, they've said like, yeah, I had, X amount of shares and then I sold, 500 of them or 1,000 of them or whatever in, when it was up around $50. So now like I've covered my initial investment. I'm like, okay, that's perfect. Like that's exactly how you want to trade because now you're trading risk free. Right? Like if it goes back down to where you got in, you cut you sell the stock and you've made your investment, right? So like but like I don't think a lot of people have done that, which is why, I don't want to say I'm spreading like negativity and doubt. I just really want people to be aware of the fact that like if this thing starts to fall, like just even if you take some money off the table, like just please do so. In my opinion, I just hate seeing all this crap on Twitter. People just pumping this thing up to people that don't know how to trade and they don't know what they're putting their money in. And there's, like I always talk back about like the Bitcoin in 2017 and like, it's really sad because like I remember after that whole thing happened, like I was new to trading and I was seeing like all these people that were like, oh my God, like I put my lines in this, like I put my kids' college fund in this. Everybody that like all over the internet, every single person on the street I passed said it was going to go to $100,000. Now I've lost all my money. I have to go back. Like people don't see that side of it. Like it really does destroy people's lives and it's sad. So like when I'm out here saying like, listen guys, be cautious, take some profits, like don't get too greedy. That's not me saying like, oh, this is a stupid play. This is a stupid setup. No, like, yeah, you guys made money on the long side. I didn't. So congratulations to there. Like I was wrong in that initial move because I didn't think it was going to do what it did. But now that it's done what it's done, like, and I'm seeing this thing just selling off. I mean, like the few people that have taken their profits to cover their initial investment is brilliant. Like that's exactly how you want to trade. And then you let that other little piece do what it's going to do. If it goes to $100,000 a share, then that's fantastic. But if it goes back down to zero, you get out of that unscathed. But the people that don't take any money, if it goes back down to zero, then you lose all that money. And I can guarantee you, this is the kind of stock where if it trades down to $5 next week, everybody on Twitter is still going to be saying like, oh, you better buy more. It's on a discount. It's on a discount. Like it's not going to stop. So that's kind of why I get so frustrated with this sort of thing is people don't realize that like, they think it's all some big joke and we're in some big Reddit army. Like, no, you're literally like, there's people out there whose lives are going to get ruined if they're not careful. And people don't understand that.
I feel like part of the reason the price has gone it the way it has is because people have been evangelizing this thing. They created teams. It's us versus them. And if you're not in it, you're like against us. If you say anything negative, then you're fudding.
Yeah.
But we're not fighting. We've seen this a million times. It's happened to us a million times. Like, take the money.
Yeah. Like, what do I say? Like, what do I tell you every single time? Like, I always take my profits in 4 or 5 separate pieces because rule number 1 when you're trading is take enough off the table. You cover your initial investment. So if it goes back down and it hits your stop, you're out for zero. Because as soon as you're in that situation, then you're trading risk free, and that's where you want to be.